congratulations. Married Harsh is in the building.
Yep. Now I'm a married man. Sorry, girls.
Sorry. So, how was it, man?
It was good. It was very tiring. I was so exhausted by the end of the wedding, in the sense that you see all these Christian weddings which last one day, right? Hindu weddings are not like that. Hindu weddings last 5 days. It's long, exhausting. You barely get to eat, and you have to wear all these thick clothes. It was very tiring, and I had to take a few days just to recover. Then I went on the honeymoon, which was also exhausting. So now I'm
Mm.
getting back on track with business and what have you.
And how long was the honeymoon?
7 to 8 days. I think it was 9 days, yes, if you count the day I got back.
I see. And the 5 days of the wedding, is that the same for all Hindu weddings?
It depends. Some cultures it take like 14 days, some cultures take 3 days, some cultures take 1 day. It really depends on where you're getting married and what caste, community, and what are you from, what customs they have.
Hmm.
In mine, it takes from 7 to 5 days. In some places, it might take up to 2 months.
2 months of wedding?
Yeah, there are no celebrations every single day, but it could be something like you have some function now, then you have one function, say 7 days from that day, then one 7 days from that day. And the entire thing might take 2 months to complete.
I see. Was there a certain event where they were throwing a bunch of colored powder?
I think that is holy. That's a different festival.
Okay, no, because during your wedding, I went to another wedding here, a Hindu wedding, and there was one event where they were just throwing a bunch of different colored stuff. And this wedding also lasted for 4 to 5 days. So I was curious about what the parallels were like.
Was there a lot of yellow color involved?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's called haldi.
Haldi?
Yeah, it's turmeric, and people will rub turmeric all over your body.
I
So
see.
nowadays, people just do the shortcut thing where it takes 1 day. But earlier, this function for haldi would last 7 days.
Hmm. And what's up with all these other people that come? I mean, don't they have their own lives as well? Don't they have to go back to work?
See, Indian culture is very different from Western culture. Western culture is much more work oriented. Indian culture is much more society oriented, in the sense that in Indian culture, you work so you can live. As opposed to in the West, it's somewhat the opposite, where you live to work.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone in your family is getting married, you're supposed to go because it's your responsibility. And of course, someone you love is getting married. It's not an obligation or anything where, okay, you have your job and that's why you can't come. I mean, people will look down on you for saying that, unless you are some very big businessman or something really important is going on. And if you're setting up a new company or something, yeah, then people will excuse you. But otherwise, people expect you to come, especially if you're a close relative. If you don't come, it is considered a sign of disrespect, or something like, like you had a fight with the family and that person, and that's why you're not showing up. It's considered a sign that you're protesting something. I didn't show up to
Mm-hmm.
your wedding.
I see. So hypothetically, what if there's four people having a wedding back to back to back to back, and you're close to all of them? So you're supposed to just go to all four?
That does not happen. I mean, if they are from different families, that then it can happen. In that case, you pick the one that is in your family. Let's say three of your friends are getting married and one cousin brother is getting married, then you go to the cousin brother's wedding.
Mm-hmm.
And that's considered acceptable. If you have like a sister getting married and say a cousin getting married, then you go to the sister's wedding.
I see. And I guess if people are very close, they know to coordinate it. Or this month or this week is my wedding, so don't schedule it at the same time.
No, 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 that doesn't happen.
That doesn't
That doesn't
happen.
happen because in India, weddings, the date of the wedding is not decided by the couple. It's decided by the Hindu calendar and these pundits who do some of their Vedic mathematics and try to figure out the most auspicious date and time for you to get married.
Hmm. Astrologers.
Exactly, astrologers. Personally, I think it's bullshit, but they do it and a lot of people believe in it. So you
Hmm.
gotta do it.
I see. Okay. And so since you're fresh off this event, what was it like? Would you say this all this stuff is necessary, or do you see this eventually being something of the past, like these big weddings?
Big weddings definitely something of the past. It's very expensive to get married big. Like, you get it right. It's very very expensive.
You spent half a mil, right?
Not me personally, but the entire thing was half a mil contributed by both families. In my case, it's a bit different in the sense that I got married to an extremely wealthy family. Like the girl is from an extremely wealthy family.
She
So for
made you sign
them,
a
this is
prenup.
no, no, no. So it's like a extremely wealthy family by Indian standards, somewhat like the Rothschilds of India, you could say.
hmm
So half a mil was not a lot of money, but in most cases, half a million is a lot of money. Like for someone like me, half a mil is, I mean, it's not nothing, but it's not like I'm not gonna go broke over it. But it's still not nothing to me. But I
hmm
didn't pay all of it. You get it, right? The family, both the families pay. It gets divided amongst the families.
Right. I see. Because they've been preparing for this moment.
Exactly. Moreover, there's no like a rough 50-50, but the boys' side gets like roughly half the expense, the other side gets roughly half the expense. And me, it's not that big of a deal. Especially the family was really good. We were happy with them, etc. And we've known them for quite a while. It wasn't too big of an issue. Usually, Indian weddings are not as big and fat in the sense most Indians don't make that much money. They cannot spend so much money on a wedding.
hmm
But typically, people will spend about 1 to 2 years worth of their income on a wedding.
What about the ring? Do you guys have to get a ring?
Nowadays, yes, but you don't have to. It's not a part of Indian culture, but people have made it so where everybody wants to do the whole ring ceremony thing for pictures.
hmm You posted a picture like that, didn't you?
Yeah, but it was a cheap ring.
I saw some of your followers roasting you for that.
I'm like, dude, I just got it for the picture. I didn't even give a fuck about anything.
You're like, Mom, let me borrow one of your rings real quick.